someone's class, isn't it?
It's at past, isn't it? I don't know. It's not here yet.
You want to see me?
Okay. Wanting to do the honours.
One, 155.
Which one?
Page 155.
Yeah,
Where are the other cutouts? The ones that are a bit finer.
there's these ones.
Yeah, that's the ones.
Vajahure mana Srinandana Vaya Charanara Vajahure mana Srinandana Vaya Charanara Ruddhavamana Vajana Masat Samaya Vajaro Babo Sindhu
Did you sing Hari Bhasha Ekiti?
No, not that one yet.
Let's sing that. For Ekadasi 267.
Yeah. We sung it this morning actually, but
Work on that.
267.
no, this will be okay because you can still come in. I always sit here. Sorry?
Someone can hit you with the door.
No.
Oh, sorry, I'll move up a little bit for you. No worries. That's it.
Sri Hari Vatsare Hari Kirtana Vida.
Sri Hare Visare Hare Kirtana Vida. Anitara Mila Prabhu Jagatera. Punyavanta Shiva Sangha Madeshu Paramba. Kaputila Kirtana Dwani Gopala Govinda. Mridanga Mandira Bhaje Shankara Talo. Sankirtana Shankasho Mishalo. Ramane Utilo Dwani Purira Akasha. Jodhira Amandara
Hangi Mangala Sankirtan Bhojanate Jagannatha Mishrananda Sabarangete Shobe Sri Chandala Mata Sri Chandana Mala Anande Nachoye Shobha Hoye Vibala Nijanande Nache Mahaprabhu Vishambara Charanera Tali Shuni Ati Manohara Abhavesha Mala Nohi Rohoye Kalaya Chindiya Podoye Giya Bakatera Gaya Janra Namanande Shiva Vasana Na Jane Janra Rase Nache Shiva Se Nache Apane Janra Name Valmiki Hoilo Tapoda Janra Name Ajamila Hoilo Mochana Janra Name Shravane Sankara Banda Guche Aheno Prabhu Avatari Kali Juge Nache Janra Nama Loi Shuka Narada Bedaya Sahasrabadana Prabhu Jara Gunagaya Sarva Mahaparashchita Jai Prabhura Nama Jai Prabhu Nachaye Deke Jata Bhagyavana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jana Vrindavana Dasa Tucha Pada Juge Gana Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Once on the auspicious day of Ekadasi, in the house of Srivas Pandit, Sriman Mahaprabhu inaugurated congregational Nama Sankirtan with great enthusiasm, accompanied by his devotees and associates. Surging in divine ecstasy, Sriman Mahaprabhu, the life and soul of the universe, began to dance beautifully. The devotees surrounded him, being deeply touched and inspired by such an ecstatic moment, and they also began to dance and sing the holy names like Gopala and Govinda. The combined sound vibrations of mridanga, temple bells, karatal and shank, in harmony with the congregational singing and dancing, took everyone to the plane of transcendental delight. Jai Srila Gurudev. The holy vibration of Sankirtan filled the sky and spread through the ether all over the cosmic universal existence. Thus the atmosphere in all directions became purified and filled with auspiciousness by that divine sound. In all four directions the auspicious chanting of the Lord's name spread, and in the center of that sound vibration, the son of Jagannath Mishra, Sriman Mahaprabhu, danced. Everyone was decorated with fragrant sandalwood paste and beautiful garlands. The most wonderful rhythmic sound arose from the dancing footsteps of Sriman Mahaprabhu, which captivated the minds of the devotees. As he continued dancing in his own self-born ecstasy, the swinging flower garlands around his neck began to fall, decorating the earth. The devotees beheld before their eyes this rare and precious, heart-captivating, ecstatic dance of the Supreme Tattva, Sri Gauranga, who is the most worshipable object of even the great personalities such as Lord Shiva, Shuka, Narad, and others. Being totally overwhelmed and lost in the transcendental bliss of taking Mahaprabhu's holy name, Lord Shiva sometimes doesn't care for his formal appearance or obligation to retain his clothing, which sometimes falls down while he dances in the ecstasy of loving devotion. By chanting and meditating upon his holy name, Sri Valmiki became a great powerful rishi, and Ajamil attained pure liberation. As one hears and takes his holy name with devotion, embracing its holy potency within the core of their heart, their existence becomes totally purified, and they attain deliverance. Such is the Lord, the source of all incarnations, in his dancing form in this age of Kali. The pure devotees, Sri Shukadev and Devashis Narad, are always blissfully engaged in relishing the nectar of his holy name and distributing it to suitable jiva souls. Wherever they travel, even Anantadev describes his unlimited glories with thousands of mouths. Of all penances, the chanting of the Lord's name is supreme, and whoever sees the dancing of the Lord in his form as Sri Chaitanya is a supremely fortunate soul. The two brothers, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, are my beloved masters and my life and soul. Thus Vrindavan Das sings this song of their glorification and devotionally offers it at their lotus feet. Beautiful. So, today is the Ekadasi day, and it is called Hari Vasara, or Madhavatiti, which means the day of the Lord. And so it's very good to practice devotion on Ekadasi. Of course, it's good to practice devotion anytime, every day, but in this material world where everybody is very busy with so many other things, then the Lord gives some special dispensation of mercy on the day of Ekadasi, which happens twice every month, on the 11th day of the full moon, 11th day of the dark moon. So this is called Ekadasi, means the 11th. Ekadasi means 11th day. There's some Puranic story given of Lord Narayan traveling on the shoulders of Garuda throughout the universe, and when he approached the Patala, the hells, the hellish regions, he heard the crying of the suffering souls there, and hearing that those pitiful cries, he inquired from Garuda, "What is that sound?" Garuda said, "It is the souls being punished in hell for their misdeeds." "Oh, it is very troublesome to my ears," Lord Narayan said. And Garuda said, "This is your arrangement, Lord. Oh, then I must do something to help them." And so he inaugurated that Ekadasi day, that on the Ekadasi day, if you do anything directed towards the service of the Lord and his devotees, some elevated position will come to you. So this way, even the residents of hell, if they follow the vrata of Ekadasi, they become elevated and can escape that hellish situation. And so much so that when that was begun, when the people understood that everyone following the Ekadasi vrata, and no one doing any sin or pap. So in the Vedic conception of universal affairs, of reality, everything is conceived of as a person. The cloud is a person, the mountain is a person, the tree is a person, the elements themselves are persons. And so pap also, or sin, has a personification, a person. He's known as the Papa Purusha, who is the enjoyer of sin, you can say, the literal translation, Papa Purusha. So he approached Lord Narayan and said, "Oh, on this Ekadasi day, no one doing any sin, so that means I don't have anywhere to live. Because I live where sin is being performed, and no one's doing this on Ekadasi, then I don't have anywhere to live, no abode on the Ekadasi day. Then I am also one of your subjects, and therefore dependent on you. You have to give me somewhere to live on Ekadasi. So the Lord said, all right, then I give you grains to live on Ekadasi. You can live in grain on Ekadasi. So then the idea is that if you eat grain on Ekadasi, then all sin is contained in those grains on that day. So, in fact, it says in the Purana that those who eat grain on Ekadasi, they're guilty of killing their mother and father and their guru. Now it's a very serious thing. But the Vaishnavas, they're not afraid of pap, sin. They don't follow Ekadasi because of fear of sin. They follow Ekadasi to please the Lord. Because sin is mundane and cannot live in Mahaprasadam. So if you take rice and offer to the Lord, that can never be sinful. You can never say, oh, this prasadam is sinful prasadam on Ekadasi. No. You can't do that. But Guru Maharaj said for two reasons we follow the Ekadasi Vrata. One, this is more, you can say more perhaps important in India, is to show the common people the example that you try to follow this Ekadasi Vrata. Mahaprabhu himself instructed Mother Sachi, you please fast on Ekadasi day, not to eat grains on Ekadasi. And the second, more important reason is that we can utilize our time for the satisfaction of Hari Guru and Vaishnava on this day. And as I said before, some special dispensation is afforded to the people on the Ekadasi day. So whatever you do, it's like a 2-for-1 sale. In the department store, you can get buy one, get one free. So, then practice the Vrata and get, double benefit from that. So for that reason, the devotees do that. But not so that they'll get some benefit. That's not their primary idea. The primary idea is for the satisfaction of the Lord. The Lord is fully transcendental to this mundane world. But we understand that the tides are governed by the phases of the moon. And on the 11th day, the influence of the moon is very strong on the living beings. That means, that although the moon governs, even the scientists recognize the moon governs the tides of the sea. And, human beings are like 80% water, our body. So then we can understand that some influence of the moon will also be on us. In fact, it's well documented that on a full moon, the crime rate goes up. And, for a long time, people have used this word like lunatic, right? It means you become crazy because of the moon, lunatic. So, anyway, the 11th day is meant to be that some particular influence of the moon makes one more desirous to enjoy. And also, Krishna has that. So, it is not necessary, as we hear in Brahma Samhita, that there's no necessity of moonlight or sunlight in the spiritual world, but nevertheless they're existing there, because Krishna likes to dance with the cowherd girls under the full moon. So for Krishna's satisfaction, there is moonlight, there is sunlight, all of these things are there. But they're not necessary to be there other than to fulfill Krishna's desire. So it's told like that. So Srila Guru Maharaj uses this example. He says that a glass of water is a very ordinary thing, but according to its necessity, its value will be increased. So if you're in the middle of the desert and starving for water, a glass of water, you'll give your life for that. It's like that becomes incredibly valuable, although generally it's a very ordinary thing. So similarly, on the 11th day, the Lord, feeling some necessity to take service from his devotees more, and the devotees understanding that, they utilize their time for his service. And sometimes devotees get a little bit, oh no, it's Ekadasi today, oh no, that we have to follow some rules and regulations. We can't have our cheese sandwich, or we can't have, rice today, or whatever it may be. So they feel a little depressed on Ekadasi. And but we should not think like that. We should think that some extra opportunity has been given to us to utilize our time for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. So, we're minimizing our eating and minimizing all the things that we do, bodily things that we do. So generally, devotees don't cut their hair or shave or cut their nails or these things on Ekadasi. And normally, devotees they'll take prasadam once a day. When we lived in the mott in Navadvip, there's no breakfast served on Ekadasi. You would fast until lunchtime, and then of course anukalpa. Anukalpa, literally anukalpa means a little bit. That's what it translates as. Anukalpa, a little bit. So you would take something just to keep up your strength. Some potatoes or tapioca or some milk product, something like that. So roots, fruits, and milk we would take on Ekadasi. And usually once a day, and sometimes if you need it in some necessity, then again in the evening time, something simple. The idea to simplify our bodily needs on that day. And for those who were young and strong, then sometimes they would fast the whole day. But Guru Maharaj wasn't really in favor of fasting on Ekadasi or any day really. That's why in Chaitanya Saraswat Math, the only compulsory fast days are Krishna Janmastami, Gaura Purnima, and Singha Chaturdashi. No compulsory fast on any other day, or half-day fast on the appearance of the Lord. But we are not fasting on the appearance or disappearance day of the Vaishnava. We heard from Srila Govinda Maharaj that on those days Saraswati Thakur would give more prasadam on those days to the devotees. But to honor the Lord on his appearance day, some fasting, and maybe half-day fasting. Even on Radhastami, only half-day fasting. Which is really no fasting, actually. It's just skipping breakfast, isn't it? It's not such a big deal. But on the Ekadasi, we're not taking any grain. But we offer grain to the Lord because he doesn't follow Ekadasi. Then we can give him everything and more, because he wants to enjoy even more on the Ekadasi day. So whatever we cook normally, then we can add to that some extra things for the Lord's pleasure. And the devotees will not take that prasadam till the following day. On the following day, we take that prasadam. And some devotees, when we were younger, we would fast the whole day. But Guru Maharaj, as I said, he didn't really approved that, actually. In fact, Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj tells us that when he went to Guru Maharaj on one day on Ekadasi, and Guru Maharaj said to him, "Have you taken Anukalpa?" And he said, "No, Maharaj, I'm fasting." And Guru Maharaj was a little bit disappointed with him and said, "Oh, well, I suppose that's okay if your Guru Maharaj expected that of you, or demanded that of you." And Goswami Maharaj said, "No, actually, Prabhupada didn't ask us to do that, but it's my own thing, I just fast on you." Then Guru Maharaj said, "Oh, then if your Guru Maharaj didn't ask you to do that, then take prasadam, take Anukalpa." And he was more pleased that he went and take Anukalpa. And Guru Maharaj said, our Guru Maharaj, meaning Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his idea was take full prasadam and do full service. One of our godbrothers, an old friend of mine, he was living in the temple with his wife, and he had some, let's say, what he considered made some offense in the temple, in the course of his service there, and he felt that he had to confess to Srila Sridhar Maharaj what had happened. So he wrote a letter to Guru Maharaj and saying that this happened, and I feel very bad. What can I do to, it's called paraschita, means like atonement. What can I do to atone for that? And Guru Maharaj's reply was, there's no punishment in Vaishnavism. We don't do any kind of punishment if somebody has a fall or does something wrong. There's no punishment. He said, but if you feel that you want to do something to atone, then you can follow every Ekadasi nirjal, means without water, for 1 year. And bless him, he did that. But he wasn't a very, physically fit or well person. So although he would fast nirjal every Ekadasi, and he did that, but he never got out of bed that day. He just stayed in bed the whole day, just taking japa mala and fasting from everything, including water. And 1 year he did that to complete that. But Guru Maharaj didn't like that. If you have to fast, that it means you have to stay in bed all day. You can't do anything. The idea is not for fasting, but the idea is to utilize our time for Krishna's service and the service of the Vaishnavas. That is the better idea. So, rather than spending our time hunting for food and hunting for, comfort and all these things, then we sacrifice that on that day and serve Krishna and serve the Vaishnavas. Utilize our time for that. And especially we can utilize our time for Hari Kirtan. So, sometimes devotees say, oh, I'm going to chant 64 rounds today because it's Ekadasi. But Guru Maharaj was more in favor of Kirtan. He would say, Mahaprabhu isn't the Messiah of Japa. Mahaprabhu is the Messiah of Sankirtan. So, if possible, utilize your time on the Ekadasi day for Sankirtan. Join with the devotees, chant the holy name of the Lord, and hear the glories of the Lord. That will be the best course for us. And if you are at home and you don't have any association, then yes, take up your japamala, chant more, read more, absorb yourself more for that day. And then next day, Dwadashi. Guru Maharaj said, Krishna's favorite days, Ekadasi and Dwadashi. And of the two, Dwadashi, his more favorite day, even more favorite than Ekadasi. So then on Dwadashi, we can feast on Ekadasi, feast on Dwadashi. What was offered to the Lord on the Ekadasi day, we can take that on the Dwadashi day. And that's why it's important to break fast at the proper time. We hear that the story of Ambarish Maharaj. He was performing some vrata and fasting for the benefit of his people. He was a king, but also a Vaishnava. And it's recounted in the scripture how that he'd followed some very severe kind of austerity, penance, so that he could get some benefit for his people, his subjects. And the day had come to break that fast. And so his Brahmin advisors, they told him, you have to break your fast by this time, otherwise all of that, everything that you did, that will be lost. All of the benefit that you can get will all be lost if you don't break the fast by this time. This is like a window in which you have to break the fast. So he's preparing for that, to break his fast, to complete the brata. And what happens? Durvasa turns up. Durvasa Muni, very famous also in the scripture, Vedic sage. And he always goes everywhere with 10,000 disciples following him. So when he arrived, the king, Maharaj Ambarish, greeted him and said, please allow me to serve you and your followers. I'll have prasadam prepared for you, please come and take. And Durvasa said, yes, we'll do that. But first we have to go and take our bath. And so they went down to the river, and you can imagine 10,000 people taking a bath in the river is going to take a little bit of time to do all that. So then, and while he's waiting for Durvasa, the time is ticking by. Oh, now I have to break my fast by the window. I've entered into that window, and if I don't break the fast by this time, the whole brata, useless. What shall I do? So he asked the Brahmins, his advisors, what shall I do? And they consulted it together. He said, I can't break my fast, I can't eat before I serve my guests. That would be very improper of me to do that. But if I don't eat, then my whole brata will be for nothing. What shall I do? So the Brahmins, they advised him, if you just sip water, a palm full of water, that is considered to be breaking the fast and not breaking the fast at the same time, simultaneously. So we advise you, break your fast by sipping water. And no offense will be incurred for breaking fast before feeding your guests. So taking that advice, he sipped water. And of course, Durvasa, being a great mystic, he could understand, the king's just broken his fast before serving us. And Durvasa is also renowned as being extremely angry all the time, In fact, he's given us the example of how you can't control your senses by practicing yoga, because he's a great yogi, but still he's angry all the time, then. So you can subdue that for some time by yoga practice, but only by bhakti can we actually conquer anger. So anyway, he became enraged. And what did the king do? He just sipped water. But he became enraged, and taking a hair from his head, he threw that to the ground and summoned a fire demon, a demon of fire, and sent him, go and finish that king. And so the fire demon went to the Maharaj Ambarish to devour him, and Ambarish stood with his palms folded. Yes, if I made some offense to the rishi and his followers, let the fire consume me. But before the fire demon could do his work, suddenly there appeared Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra and made between the two, the fire demon and Ambarish, Sudarshan shielded him. And that time Durvasa arrives to see what the outcome is. expecting to just find a pile of ashes where Ambarish Maharaj had stood, but instead he sees Sudarshan Chakra is there. And then when the Sudarshan saw Durvasa, he began to pursue him. Durvasa running everywhere and going everywhere. Durvasa is a great devotee of Lord Shiva. So he went to his Lord Shiva in Kailash, and all the time he can feel the heat of the Sudarshan behind him. So he comes to the feet of Mahadev, Lord Shiva, bowing down to him. Please, withdraw this, protect me from this Sudarshan Chakra. And Lord Shiva said, oh, that is the weapon of Narayan. I have no control over him. If he wants to devour you, there's nothing I can do, my friend. I'm sorry. You'll have to go and see Lord Narayan. So Durvasa, he's so powerful that he can go to Vaikuntha. He just pop in and see Lord Narayan in Vaikuntha. And so, using that, his prerogative, there he came before the Lord Narayan, bowed down before Lord Narayan and told, please, withdraw your Sudarshan Chakra. And Narayan, it's a very famous part in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Narayan says, oh, you think that because you're a sannyasi and Ambarish is a grihasta, that you're closer to me than him. And you think because you're a Brahmin and he's a Kshatriya, that you're closer to me. But neither of those statements is true. He is closer to me because he's my devotee. And I cannot withdraw the Sudarshan because the Sudarshan has come to protect my devotee. Only that person that you have offended can make the Sudarshan withdraw. So you should go to him and pray for his forgiveness. Then in a blink of an eye, Durvasa came there in front of Ambarish. Ambarish still standing, palms folded. Let the fire devour me if I made some offense. And then Durvasa says, "Oho, Ananta Dasanam. Today I have seen the greatness of the devotees of the Anantadev, Narayan. That I wanted to do good to you, wanted to do something bad to you, but still in your heart you only wanted good for me." And Ambarish is telling, no, Rishi, I am the offender, not you. I have done wrong. Then Durvasa said, oh no, it is devotees of Narayan, they are so great. Then please forgive my offense. And Ambarish Maharaj also, because he's a Vaishnava, he's like, what offense? So you didn't make any offense. It is not unreasonable what you did. Then Durvasa, he begged for Ambarish Maharaj's forgiveness. Ambarish Maharaj forgave him. Sudarshan withdrew. So, many things we can learn from this. But the main thing in relation to the Ekadasi is you should break the fast by the proper time. And there are some books, maybe you've seen, like describing the glories of each of the Ekadasi days. But Gurudev didn't like us to read that book. So because mainly it's karma kanda. If you do perform this, you'll get these benefits. You'll have a good son, or you'll get good fortune. This is karma kanda. This is not bhakti. As we said before, we don't follow the Ekadasi for any perceived benefit for ourselves, but rather to give more satisfaction to Krishna. We are for him. This is fundamental to all of our practice in devotional service. is that we are for Him. We are meant to satisfy Him. So some allowance given to us twice in a month, where we can try to utilize our time more for Krishna's service, more for the satisfaction of Krishna and His devotees. And sometimes, when we were, twice it happened with myself, when we were traveling on the Ekadasi day, and coming to see Guru Maharaj before we would leave, and we say, oh, we're going wherever it was today and traveling, Maharaj, and Maharaj would say, oh, you'll need to take rice then, you need to keep up your strength. We didn't really need to take rice, but he made the cook give rice to them, and we would eat. In Bengal particularly, rice is like everything. You've seen, if you see the Bengali devotees, they have a big mound of rice on their plate and a few vegetables on the side. Like rice is the main thing, And in Navadvip in those days, we didn't eat. It wasn't basmati rice. It was like the rice that they grow in the paddy. What we used to call it horse rice, because it was like big and like makes you strong as a horse. So, but anyway, so Guru Maharaj would say, okay, today you eat rice. And we would take rice and go. But not on our own accord. We wouldn't say, oh, well, Guru Maharaj said if we're traveling. No. If Guru Maharaj ordered us, then we take. But otherwise we're not taking. We don't need to actually, It is not necessary. Mainly it's not necessary. But if it is Mahaprasadam, there's no fault actually. But generally we are fasting on that day. Guru Maharaj said the Sahajyas, they don't fast on Ekadasi because they already think they're in Leela with Krishna. So in Krishna Leela, no fasting there, only enjoying. But we are all sadhakas, we are not perfected, we are not in Krishna's Leela. And if we have any connection with Krishna, on the Ekadasi day, that is by minimizing our own necessity in favor of Krishna's service. Everything is connected there. And we were just reading a couple of days ago in Chaitanya Bhagavat how Mahaprabhu, when he was a baby, when Vishwambar, that it is not well known that he would cry all the time until the devotees would chant Krishna Nam. The ladies especially, he would cry and then they would chant Hare Krishna, clap their hands, and he would dance and stop crying. But one day, even then he won't stop crying. Even with the kirtan, he won't stop crying. And they're saying, oh, Nimai, what is it? What do you want? What can we give you that you won't cry, to stop you from crying? Then he said, nearby there is two Brahmins live nearby, Jagadish and Hiranya. And they are always making many nice offerings for the Lord on Ekadasi day, like special offerings on Ekadasi day. I want to take that prasadam, he said. I want to take that prasadam. Then Jagannath Mishra, Sachi Devi, she's saying, oh, you're asking for something impossible. It is not possible. But Jagadish and Hiranya, they were great friends of Jagannath Mishra, Mahaprabhu's father. And so Jagannath Mishra asked them, please, you give what you have offered to the Lord today, you please give. Nimai wants to eat that. And they were, oh, this is amazing. First of all, he's a little boy, like Balaram's age, like that, maybe younger. How did he know it was Ekadasi, they say? Like, how did he know? Firstly. And secondly, how did he know that we made all these offerings? He could only know that if he is actually that person that we're making those offerings to. Now, he is very clever. And so they bought the prasadam, and he ate that. And they were very happy, and everyone was very happy, and he stopped crying. So it was a very beautiful pastime of the Lord on the Ekadasi. And he asked his mother, please, mother, you observe fasting on Ekadasi. Don't eat grains on Ekadasi. So there is some importance to that. We try to follow that as best as we can. And utilize our time in a productive way for Krishna service. Vishamba Mahaprabhu, from his very young age, he's showing who he is to the devotees, but in a very disguised way, making all the devotees do Sankirtan to stop crying. And then just before that, we hear about the Brahmin who came to Mahaprabhu, to Jagannath Mishra's house, and he asked, Jagannath Mishra asked him, you please cook something for your Gopal. He had a deity, Gopal deity, and a shalagram shila, and every day he would cook something. He had no home, just traveling around with his deity, and came to the house of Sachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra and they asked him, you please cook for your deity. And so he cooked something and sat down, and with the Gopal mantra, his Gayatri mantra, he invited the Lord to come and take that offering. And sitting in meditation, and then when he opened his eyes, he saw that Nimai was there eating the rice, eating those offerings. Oh no, he said, oh no, the offering is spoiled. Your boy has come and eaten it. Jagannath Mishra was very angry with Nimai, wants to give him a spank. But the Brahmin said, no, Mishra, don't do that. He doesn't know what's right or what's wrong. He's just a child. Then what will be accomplished if you beat him? Nothing will be accomplished there. So don't beat him. It's okay. Then he said, oh, Krishna has not given anything for me to eat today. It's okay. I accept it. That today he has not allotted any rice for me to eat. It's okay. I can just eat some fruit or roots or something. No, Jagannath Mishra was very upset. He said, no, please, cook again. If you don't, we have all facility in our house. Then you please cook again for your Gopal. All right. And he said, and we'll make sure that the boy doesn't disturb you this time. And he told Sachi Devi, take him to the neighbor's house. Take him to the neighbor's house. So he goes to the neighbor's house, and he's sitting with all the ladies there and talking with them. And he said, I don't see what I did wrong. He called me to take the food, and I came and took the food. So I didn't do anything wrong. Anyway, they didn't take seriously what he said. They just think he's a little boy. And then meanwhile, the Brahmin, he cooks again. And they're carefully keeping Nimai away from that. He sat down to make his offering in meditation, and again, when he opened his eyes, there's Nimai eating the rice. Then he calls his father, and they call Jagannath Mishra, and Jagannath Mishra is just like, he's actually so upset by it, he can't speak now. He just put his hand on his head, and he doesn't speak, he can't say anything. Then they say, okay, we'll please just one more time, please cook. And this time it's like midnight. So okay, so the Brahmin cooks again. And he said, and this time, we'll make sure Nimai doesn't come. We'll lock the door. We'll lock the door so he can't come in. And Jagannath Mishra sat against the door, so Nimai can't get in. And he's in the room there. And everyone, it's so late, everybody fell asleep. He's making his offering. And this time, again he opens his eyes, and lo and behold, there's Nimai eating the offering. And the Brahmin says, oh, I can't understand why this is happening. And Mahaprabhu, Nimai says, you called me, I came to eat. Then you're calling with your Gopal mantra, but I am that Gopal. I am him. And then he showed an 8-armed form to the Brahmin. And 4 arms with the conch and chakra, disc, lotus, and another 2 arms with his flute, and another 2 arms he's feeding himself with the other 2 arms, so 8-armed form. Then the Brahmin was astonished. He said, you are my eternal devotee, and in your last life you came to the house of Nanda Maharaj, and there you cooked for me, and I ate your offering. Directly I ate your offering, and now again I am doing that. And the Brahmin, fell down before the Lord, offering prayers to him. I am so fortunate. And Nimai said, yes, but don't tell anybody what you saw here. And then Nimai says, because if you do, I'll kill you. Then he took the offering, ate the offering. Brahmin's happy. Then the Brahmin ate the remnants, and everyone else is happy. And the Brahmin's thinking, maybe I should tell his mother and father who he actually is. And then he thought, I better not, because he might kill me. He said he would kill me. So it's very beautiful, these pastimes of Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahiyanya. Guru Maharaj says if we give attention to the Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then mysteriously we will find that all of our credit in our devotional account, our Navadvip account, will be mysteriously and miraculously transferred into our Vrindavan account. Not necessary to give attention to anyone but to Chaitanya Dev. That's why Srila Guru Maharaj said that the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the greatest literature ever known in the world, or any world, in any time, in any place, in anywhere, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the greatest literature. And we can give our attention to that. Sometimes devotees are a little reticent to study Srimad Bhagavatam, because there are many things there that it's told, you should only study the Bhagavatam under the direction of a devotee and like that. But actually, the purports of our Srila Prabhupada, they're protecting us in a very beautiful way. But 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, that deals exclusively with Krishna Lila. And if you put all the other 11 cantos up to canto 9, and then 11 and 12, put them all together, it still doesn't equal the what's given in the 10th canto. The majority of that is given in the 10th canto. And Srila Prabhupada didn't give the 10th canto. He gave a summary of that in the Krishna book, which is a very nice, safe way of studying the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. But there it contains many high things of Krishna's Madhura Leela, that we are not qualified to enter into that. That if we give our attention to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela, then automatically, Guru Maharaj says, automatically you will find yourself awake in the Vrindavan Leela of Krishna, without having to make any other attempt there. It is very safe, and especially Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Bhagavat of Vrindavan Das Thakur is also perfect literature of describing the pastimes of Chaitanya Dev. But that, not so much philosophy in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. It's just the pure Leela there. And therefore the Guru Maharaj said, the Sahajas like that Chaitanya Bhagavat very much, because they can twist all kinds of convoluted meanings from the Leela of the Lord. But that in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is very difficult to do, because Krishnadas Kaviraj, right from the beginning, gives a very solid foundation of 1, philosophy, and 2, scriptural reference. So everything he says there, he backs it up with proof from the scriptures, from Srimad Bhagavatam and other Vaishnava scriptures. So very difficult to misinterpret the Leela of the Lord. I'm sure there are those who will give it a go, even so, but more difficult than with Chaitanya Bhagavat. But our Guru Maharaj, his program was in Chaitanya Saraswat, and in the morning Chaitanya Bhagavat, in the evening Chaitanya Charitamrita, and at 4 o'clock in the afternoon Srimad Bhagavatam class, after the Lord awakens in the afternoon. So, something we are trying to at least follow the gist of that, and give our attention to Mahaprabhu's Leela, because Mahaprabhu's Leela is called Acharya Leela. The Lord has appeared as his own devotee. From that we can infer, or we can understand, what is the power of Krishna Bhakti. Krishna Bhakti is so powerful that it can convert Krishna himself into his devotee. Even Krishna wants to be a devotee. So Rupa Goswami has written, Anarpita Chirim Chira Karuna Avartina Kalo Samarpayitam Unuto Jala Rasam Sabhakti Shriya. And this is quoted in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Anarpita Chirim Chirat means you have come to give what no other incarnation of Krishna has ever given before to the world. That Unato Jala Rasam Sabhakti Shreya means the original Madhura Rasa, you have come to distribute that to one and all. That has never been given by any avatar of Krishna ever. Even Krishna himself didn't give that. He showed that but it's to a closed group. Krishna's Leela in Vrindavan, closed group. Not to everyone. Just to his intimate devotees. And it is recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam, but it is a long journey to reach that. From Canto 1 to Canto 10. It's a long journey and necessary to follow, to prepare us for that. But Mahaprabhu, he came to distribute that to everybody, in Guru Maharaj's words, distributing nectar like it was water, for everyone. So that is extraordinary, what he has come to give, and not at all usual thing or a common thing. Even in Mahabharata, there's no mention of Krishna's Vrindavan Leela. It is referenced maybe 1 or 2 times. One reference is in Vastraharana of Draupadi. when they tried to disrobe Draupadi in the assembly of the Kurus. But Krishna wasn't present even there. He was somewhere else. But after Yudhisthira had gambled away himself, his brothers, and finally Draupadi, then just to rub the salt in the wound, so to say, Duryodhana told his brother Dushashan, go and bring our property here, meaning Draupadi. Came back and tried to humiliate her in front of that assembly of so-called heroes, and just to rub Yudhisthira's nose in it. Oh, she belongs to us now. He pulled up his dhoti, Duryodhana, and showed his thigh to her. What do you think of that? This is the thigh of your new husband, he said. Bhimsen couldn't control himself. He jumped up, furious, and said, I'll smash that thigh. I'll smash it. And the other brothers had to calm him down. And Draupadi herself, she was, it was the time of her menses at that time, so she was in that, not dressed properly and with her hair untied. And when Bhimsen vented his anger like that, she said, and he told to Duryodhana, I'll tear out your heart with my bare hands and drink the blood, your blood. He told, aren't you Hare Krishnas into peace and love? I was like, what's going on? So, and Draupadi, she said then, I will not tie my hair again until my husband Bhimsen ties it with his hands still covered in your blood, Duryodhana, she told. And he did it later on. But anyhow, then he tells Dushashan, so let's have a look at her. Pull off her sari. I want to have a look at her. She's our property now, pulling off. So he begins pulling her sari off, and she's holding on to try and maintain her modesty. But Dushashan, he's a Maharati. Maharati means that he has the strength of 1,000 elephants. So you're not going to be able to fight with somebody who's as strong as 1,000 elephants. And she understands that. She's also a Panchali princess. She's a Kshatriya princess, but still, even so, she knows that it's futile to try and fight against his strength. So with one hand holding her cloth and one arm raised, she thought, only Krishna, my husbands can't protect me. And she's looking also at Bhishma and Drona and all the other so-called grandsires of the dynasty there to come to her aid, and they're just all, looking to the floor. They won't even look her in the face. Then she realized no help coming from anywhere. Then only Krishna can protect me. So she began to call Krishna's name. Then she realized, no, this is useless. Why am I holding my cloth? With both arms raised, she started calling Krishna. And Guru Maharaj said, when she said, hey, Gopi Jana Balaba, who's the lover? Krishna, the lover of the gopis, the darling of the gopis. Krishna heard that, he couldn't resist. When he was reminded by her of his Vrindavan Leela, he couldn't resist, had to come to her aid. And Srila Sri Ramanuja says, of the whole Mahabharata, this is the highest point of the Mahabharata. This Vastraharana is called the Vastraharana of Draupadi. Guru Maharaj said, even higher than Gita, even higher than the Bhagavad Gita, is Draupadi's surrender to Krishna. And Krishna had to come and give protection to his devotee. That is very wonderful, a wonderful thing. But this, more or less, that's the only mention of Krishna's Vrindavan Leela that you'll find in Mahabharata. That is unknown we know that Krishna, he appears every Dwapara Yuga and shows his pastimes, but his Vrindavan pastimes only once in a day of Brahma. And that's a long time, millions of years. Once in the day of Brahma, Krishna comes as Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna in his fullness, and shows his Leela in Vrindavan. And it just happens that was the Dwapara Yuga just passed. That Dwapara Yuga, Krishna comes as Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. And then in the following age, this age that we're in now, Kali Yuga, then Mahaprabhu comes as Swayam Bhagavan, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Every Kali Yuga, the Lord appears to teach the Yuga Dharma of Sankirtan. But not always as Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Some manifestation of Mahaprabhu, but sometimes it's given a different slant. But that highest, what he describes, or described by Krishnadas Kaviraj, the inner reason for Mahaprabhu's advent. That is, the outer purpose is to inaugurate the Sankirtan mission and as the Yuga Dharma. But the internal reason to try to understand what Srimati Radharani feels in love with Krishna, what kind of ecstasy she can taste in Krishna's service, and what it means to be a devotee of Krishna. That is the internal purpose of the Lord's advent in Kali Yuga. As the avatari, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu avatari, some hint has been given about that. The Imli Tala of Vrindavan, where Mahaprabhu showed that form as Krishna, Nanda Nandana Krishna. So Nanda Nandana Krishna, subsumed by the heart and halo, the bhav and kanti of Srimati Radharani, that is Chaitanya Dev. And Swayam Bhagavan Chaitanya Dev. So one, Krishnadas Kaviraj says, one indivisible truth that become two for the purpose of loving exchanges, that Radha and Krishna, that one truth as two. Saraswati Thakur used this expression, predominating and predominated moiety. Moiety means half. So two halves, one predominating, one predominated. That makes the whole one indivisible truth, as Swayam Bhagavan, Radha and Krishna together. Then again, when they become one, as Chaitanya Dev. So Nanda Nandana Krishna, that is Shyama Sundar Krishna, covered by the bhav and kanti of Srimati Radharani, becomes Gaura Sundar. He is not just the incarnation of Krishna for this age. He is Krishna himself. Not an avatar, but the avatari, Krishna. Nanda Nandana Shyama Sundar Krishna become Gaura Sundar as the son of Mother Sachi. But he is Swayam Bhagavan himself. So that he has come in this Kali Yuga, where we are now, that is our greatest fortune. And so much so that Srila Sridhar Maharaj says that the gods in heaven are praying to take birth in this Kali Yuga, just to take part of this, in this Krishna Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Dev, to avail themselves of this. So, although in a general sense we are thinking Satya Yuga, that's like the golden age of mankind, and Kali Yuga is the worst, right? It's the age of, iron age of quarrel and hypocrisy. But Guru Maharaj says, we don't judge a day by the weather. Like that people say the rainy day, oh, that's a bad day. But we say, no, rainy day is not the bad day. The bad day is the day when we can't hear something about Lord Krishna. So similarly, then, in the Satya Yuga, people live for thousands of years and they're absorbed in meditation on Brahman and so on. But they are not. Guru Maharaj asked one of the devotees who was inquiring about this, do you think in Satya Yuga everyone was Krishna conscious? He said, yeah, I did. That's what I thought, yeah. Guru Maharaj said, no, it's not. They were engaged in the cultivation of the spirit and self-realization, but that's mainly on impersonal Brahman, not on the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So he's saying, so we will measure the value of the age by the revelation of that age. And after the advent of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the revelation of divinity has never been so great as this. Nobody understood that before. Okay, they're thinking Narayan is the supreme. That's recognized, and everyone thinking that. When I first became interested in Krishna consciousness, I bought loads of books on Hinduism. They all say that, right? Narayan, he's the highest, and Krishna is the 8th avatar of Narayan. And it's true, he does come through the agency of Narayan. But Srimad Bhagavatam proves conclusively that he's the source of Narayan. He is the source of all. Sarva Karana Karanam, as we find in Brahma Samhita. The cause of all causes is Krishna, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. And Narayan is his majestic aspect, worshipped and adored in Vaikuntha. But in his most charming and merciful, playful aspect, he is Nanda Nandana Krishna, Gokula Nanda Krishna of Vrindavan. And that Vrindavan Krishna, he's been distributed by Sri Chaitanya Dev. When Krishna, the Madhurya Leela of Krishna, when that becomes infused with the extended, compassionate nature of Srimati Radharani, then Madhurya Leela becomes Odarja Leela, the distribution of that sweetest thing. Mahaprabhu came to give that, and with no cost to anyone. You want it, you can have it. So everyone can have that. And even if you don't want it, then Nityananda Prabhu is there to insist that you have it. So no one to be left behind. Everybody will be scooped up, if you like, in the Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when it says in the scripture, the golden age will appear in this Kali age, it is here, we're in it. This is it. Because the revelation that Chaitanya Dev has come to give to the world, no one has ever given that before. So this way we can understand what fortune we have. But the problem is we don't understand what fortune we have. Because if we did, we wouldn't waste a single moment, would we? Doing anything else. But every journey begins with a single step. So at least we want to go in the right direction, heading in the right direction. And one day, mercifully by the grace of the Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grace, we'll get some idea of what we've signed up for. And today or tomorrow we will get that thing. This is the gift of Mahaprabhu and the gift of Mahaprabhu's devotees. And especially it's very good for us to contemplate that as we try to give more service, more attention on the Ekadasi day especially. So it's gone a little long over, but I think now time for Arati. Unless anyone has a question. Devananda Prabhu, any question?
Yeah, I mean, should we read Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes, we must read Srimad Bhagavatam.
Because I see in the video, everybody reads Chaitanya Charitamrita in the Bhakti Yoga,
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if we should.
Yes, it is. After the disappearance of Lord Krishna, the sun rose in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, the Mahapurana, and we will get light in this Kali age from Srimad Bhagavatam. But we should understand that Chaitanya Dev is the ideal preacher of Srimad Bhagavatam, and his whole life and pastimes, they are the living expression of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we should give our attention there, but it doesn't mean that Srimad Bhagavatam is banned for us or anything. We should study Srimad Bhagavatam. And in the association of devotees is best. But Srila Prabhupada wrote so many perfect purports that he protects our conception. And the danger is in studying Srimad Bhagavatam that you may misunderstand. But Srila Prabhupada very carefully has given so much instruction to us through his commentary that we will not be misled, unless we're looking to be misled. But yeah, everyone should study Srimad Bhagavatam. Every day, preferably. Every day.
I bought the whole set of Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Good.
And I'll read that in the morning.
Nice.
So maybe I should also get the whole set of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah, of course. Definitely, yes. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Bhagya Ki Jai. Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Brinda Ki Jai. Samadvaita Vaishnava Mandali Ki Jai. Kol Kartel Ki Jai. Shri Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Pranam.
I just